So I'm working on a onesie. This is a 12-month onesie. And I'm going to use our ink mat. Now we have two sizes in ink mats. One is a large 18 by 18 that's great for when you do a large pillow, and then we have another one that's a long one. I don't remember the dimensions, but the long one, well, any of them, but specifically the long one was designed so that you could cut it to size. And so I've cut a couple of these to size because I make a lot of onesies to put in there. And you can see there's some ink that's dried on there from other projects. That's okay. This actually is sticky. It's a little bit tacky, and so that helps when we are inking to keep our surface smooth. And so when I put it into a onesie so that it doesn't get all sticky and hard to get where I want it to, hopefully you can see this. That's better. I know my head is cut off, but we're gonna live with my head being cut off today. So what I do is I kind of put it like a taco shape, and I put it inside, and I take it all the way up before I let it flatten. And that gets it all the way in there. And then I just kind of zhuzh it and play with it a little bit. Not all the way up as far as I want it to be. I like to actually have it up far enough that it's where I can see it coming out of the neck. And what I do is I line it up with the words at the top to try to keep it even. Kind of helps a little bit. Okay. And then I'm just gonna kind of smooth it out. Maybe this one's not as straight as I want it to be. Now, I get my onesies in bulk, but you can use this on any onesie or t-shirt. This would be a great activity at a baby shower to get a handful of transfers of the A size transfers and a couple of colors of ink, and have people maybe bring the onesies and to ink on. That would be kind of fun. Okay, I'm trying to get this right. There we go. Okay. So I've got my ink mat in there and I've got my surface smoothed out, so I'm going to open my transfer. And one of the things that I wanted to show you with the A-size transfers is that they have directions on the back, very specific directions with pictures. So if you're just starting out, an A-size transfer is a great way to go. And it also comes with that on the back, which is really helpful. Of course, there's lots of videos and people to help you as well if the directions are not for you. So I'm going to take this out, and because I'm doing it on fabric, even though it's a new transfer, I am not going to fuzz. I'm going to just use it straight from here. Now this one is not super stinky. If you get one that when you open it, it's super stinky, that means it might need a little air dry time. But this one looks like it's good to go. So we're going to position this where I want it. And I'm using the logo at the top of the onesie to kind of, and the button at the bottom, to kind of give myself a center. And I'm just eyeballing it. I don't get all upset about is it exactly in the center, because I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing. There we go. Once I have it where I want it, I'm going to smooth it out. Now this is a new transfer, so it is sticky, so it's definitely going to stick to my surface. But with ink, one of the tricks is to just kind of take your finger and press, not too hard, but just to press it down so that all of where it's supposed to adhere to the fabric it does, and then it will not bleed underneath. Honestly, I've only ever had it bleed once, and that was because I totally I was using an old transfer and I pushed so hard, and I really literally just pushed the ink underneath the green part of the transfer. So that's good to go. Okay, so it's a dinosaur, so I'm going to use green for the dinosaur. I could use multiple colors. I could do the dots in different colors if I wanted to. I'm going to be simple with this one. I'm going to do just green for the dinosaur, and I'm going to do the roar in this Forget-Me-Not blue, which comes out to be an awesome, awesome color. Now, ink is permanent, so you definitely want to be a little bit careful when you're using our ink. Like this has got a lot of stuff on it. I am not going to put that right on my white tablecloth. That would be terrible. I usually work on an old towel, honestly. I should have put an old towel down, but I didn't, but that's okay. So there we go. Now the ink that I'm using here is one of our older, it was one of the first ones, so this is a smaller one. Our ink today comes in this 3 ounce, and it doesn't have that awkward lid either. It comes sealed instead. But you can see this is an old one, and I just opened this one and it's still perfect. So it lasts a very long time. And so I'm going to take just a little bit. I want you to see when I say just a little bit, I mean just a little bit. I kind of dip it in there, and I use the flat part of, you can see there's a little bit of an angle there. I'm going to use the flat part and just dipped it in. And I'm going to go from the green to the screen. So I start at a 90-degree angle and I pull it back a little. And then I'm just going to put a very light pressure. You don't want to push too hard when you're using ink. And I'm going to just pull it down across. So I'm going from the green to the screen. And I'm going to cover all that area. And when you run out, you just dip it in, get a little bit more. You don't want to overload the squeegee with ink. Too much ink could lead to a little bit of bleeding, which we don't want. So I just take it little pieces at a time. And I cover it. You definitely want to go from that green to the screen. I'm trying to avoid, it's pretty close there, but that's perfect. So we want to get that. So I'm just covering my design. Obviously in the center there, I don't need any ink. It's just extra to wash off, so I'm gonna go up here from that green to that screen, cover the bottom of his feet. And then we'll get his tail. Now ink does not dry as quickly as chalk paste does, so you have a little more work time with ink. So I'm kind of going slowly, and I tend to work a little slower with ink than I do with chalk paste so that I'm more careful because it is permanent. And I want to make sure I cover all the spots that I'm supposed to cover. Okay, so the green looks pretty good. So the next color I'm going to use is this Forget-Me-Not blue. We always have really beautiful blues. I could have used a navy. I kind of love this Forget-Me-Not blue. I love the shade of it. When it dries, it's gorgeous. So I'm going to do the roar in that. And that's a big screen area, so I definitely want to go from the green to the screen here and pull in towards the center. Remember, I'm just dabbing it in my ink and doing a little bit at a time, starting on the green part, pulling it into the center of the screen. I don't want to overload my squeegee with ink. Super simple. Imagine doing this at a baby shower. This would be a great station to have at a baby shower. You get a few of the transfers, get a handful of onesies in different sizes. People can pick their colors. And although that's an investment to do that, then you have those materials, you have those transfers that are reusable, you have those inks that will last you, because a little bit, you can see a little bit goes a long way. Okay, so I've got that covered. I'm gonna move my ink out of the way here. And I always check to make sure my fingers are clean before I touch my onesie, make sure I didn't get any ink on my hands before I touch anything. And then I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to try to get a corner here. And I try to pull across the whole top. I want to pull straight down. I don't want to pull from the corner because our transfers are like fabric, and if you pull from the corner, it could stretch it. So we want to pull from the top. And so with ink, I definitely go slow. And the reason I do that is because if I missed a spot, I can lay the transfer back down. That blue is looking good. So far, the green is looking good. So far, the green is looking good. This is adorable. Look at those polka dots on his back. Fantastic. The other reason I go slow when I pull off when I'm inking is because sometimes the fuzzies on fabric, you don't want it to catch that ink and sort of pull it down and kind of bleed a little on you. Look at that, that's gorgeous. Now because this is ink, I want to wash it right away. So I've got a water bath over here to put my transfer in so that the ink doesn't dry in the screen. That's really important. Now chalk, if chalk dries in the screen, it's chalk, it washes out. But the ink, once the ink dries in the screen, your transfer will be ruined. So you definitely want to wash it off immediately or put it in water, but you don't want to soak it in water for too long. So I usually just take it to the sink and wash it off. But because we're going to do another project, then I'm going to just let that soak. And so I'm going to leave my ink mat inside my onesie for a little while it starts to dry, and then once it, especially because it has that big blue spot, and then once it's dry, I will, oh, my phone says connection available. Hopefully I didn't lose you. So once it's dry, I will take that ink mat out, and then when it's totally dry, probably tomorrow, I like to wait 24 hours, so you don't have to, but I like to wait 24 hours. I will heat set this with my heat press. I have a video that I did not long ago showing how to heat set ink. I can do another one. So I can do another one with this one tomorrow. And so there is our inked onesie. How adorable is that? That's so cute. I love the green with the blue. I might do a green with a pink roar. I might do a pink, totally pink dinosaur for my daughter. I think this is so cute. All right, so that's our ink.